now in the cage, 3 rounds of mixed martial arts in the welterweight division. Introducing our referee in charge of this bout, Chris the Crippler Lieben. And now, introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, he is wearing black trunks. He is training out of Enso MMA in Santa Barbara by way of Guanajuato, Mexico. He weighed in 169 pounds. Tonight, he is making his debut. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Miguel Huerta. His opponent across the cage on my right, fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing black trunks. He is training out of Fight Science MMA in Mid-City by way of Los Angeles. He weighed in 169 pounds. He is also making his debut. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Eduardo Orellana. All right, fans, here we go. 3 rounds of mixed martial arts in the welterweight division.
All right, very excited to get the event off to an amazing start here, John.
Yeah, really curious to see this Huerta fighter fighting out of Enso MMA in Santa Barbara, which makes sense. Big Sandoval from Santa Barbara. He's in the corner, so really curious to see that. And his opponent, Eduardo, fighting out of Fight Science. Got Tian Liu, who's
in the co-main, yeah.
Yeah, and he is also out of Fight Science, or at least out of Fight Science.
Yep.
Well, I think we got a low blow here, so.
We'll take a few. Everybody walk it off. We'll be good.
Good to see Chris Lieben as the ref in there.
Man, Chris has made such a name for himself here. He's continued to be a part of the combat sports community, and it's just such a refreshing face to see, because if you're in there, you know he's been through this.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing if you
everything.
If you start in your MMA journey and you see Chris Lieben, you're like, at least you understand what this is. Sometimes you get the sense, especially with new kids, it's kind of like, wait, do you know what this is? Have you been here before? And sometimes they don't know. But a lot of our referees, they'll go through extensive training, or they themselves who have fought or have grappling experience, fairly heavy that I've seen.
Yeah. No, it's great to get that kind of experience in the cage. And right away, right back to it. Eduardo had enough time. Recovered. Some heavy punches from Huerta. Nice single, head outside single, turned into a double. Looking to, and lovely takedown.
Does finish it right into side control right over here. Excellent control. And I'm seeing over here, this is kind of that side control that I appreciate. Sometimes where you can get under the shoulder blades there and keep them just pinned to that position.
Yeah, it's really good. Head and arm side control, of course, is the standard. Here we got right moving over into mount. And Eduardo trying to overturn this. He was very close.
Now, Jorge looks like he wants to start teeing off, but there is a lot of movement underneath by Eduardo, so he has to be very careful not to lose the position in this particular place. And already there is a potential armbar, but he opts not for it, just to go ahead and potentially slam him back down here, John.
Yeah, probably looking for a mat return, as you said. That was a good escape out the back door from Eduardo. But now Huerta in the rear body lock and a big mat return. Nicely done from Huerta.
That's the type that comes with frequent flyer miles there. That was
That's a good one. Yeah, you worry about your fighters with that, especially in their debut, because this is big moves like this, high amplitude takedowns, can suck the energy out of you. But of course, this is amateur MMA, and this one we're looking at 2-minute rounds. So
correct.
Hopefully we won't see him lose gas in the tank there. Now trying to finish this round strong. He realizes he's not going to be able to get on the top and dominate, so just throwing some punches at the end, and that's going to do it for round number 1.
But if you think about it, that does come with a very smart strategy, which is you have 2 minutes, so it's not necessarily a lot of time to always show what you can do. So if you have to go for those high amplitude moments, you better make them count. And guess what? After that, he had control for the remaining 30 seconds, could kind of unload a little bit so that maybe he's not where he wanted to be on top, but he made a very convincing end of that round.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't come from a wrestling background behind the weight that he shot in there. And the way that he was doing those mat returns and also finishing that double leg too, he just looks like he's got that mindset and the physicality. And whenever you get wrestlers that are just used to that grind, it's, even if they're coming into a new, completely different sport where they have to worry about strikes, etc., they typically can weather the storm pretty well. So,
well, it's also, you think about it, wrestlers kind of crave this kind of competition. So whether it is at any level, if they come into jiu-jitsu, they come into boxing, they're looking to learn, and they have such a good discipline about themselves in terms of how they start to apply it, because they've been there. They know how many times you got to rep things out. And my favorite thing about being a coach to wrestlers, no questions on drilling.
oh yeah, that's just par for the course.
They just do it.
They just do whatever coach says. It's fantastic.
All right, returning back over here, nice crosses.
Yeah, nice right from Eduardo. Definitely should be down on this one. So, good left straight, though, from Huerta. Gets to a body lock. Now they're in an over-under. Dropping down, looking. He's going to go for a Metzger finish on this. Well, maybe a sag headlock. Gets pushed away by Eduardo. Would like to have seen Huerta in there a little longer. He throws these big winging punches, but his chin is straight up in the air. Yeah. Nice shot, though. This is good. Gets stuffed. I'm surprised he didn't try to reshoot off of this.
I think in partial, he is keeping his energy there, and I think he wants to pace himself as he's going.
I don't like having Huerta with this distance with Eduardo. Eduardo's taller, and he has started to land a few punches pretty solid. Huerta throwing these punches with his chin straight in the air does worry me. So, and
the hands continuing to go down a little bit, maybe telegraphing that he is going to be shooting in a few times here, John.
Yeah, and he's so clearly very good at controlling the grappling exchanges. Even if he gets stuffed, I'm just surprised that I don't see him continuing to fight for those. So off of this first sprawl, off of the first defense, just keep going in. Looking to finish the shot. There, just dips right below the punches.
That was well done.
Able to turn it into a takedown.
That was interesting. It was almost like he scouted him out to know what his striking tempo was. Allowed that to get him on the inside by having him step into that round. That was really, really well done.
Yeah, and I think some wrestlers' instincts. And here, look, I thought maybe he's going to go for a Polish there. He needs to pull Eduardo away from the cage or start sagging him down to the front. He's trying to sag him to the front, but Eduardo nicely swims that one underhook in.
We're at the last 10 seconds here of this round, and it's been not 100% similar like the first, but enough where we've gotten some good strikes over here by Eduardo. So that was good to keep Jorge a little bit more on his feet on that.
Yeah, Eduardo definitely had some bigger moments in this round. Huerta finishing strong, though, with his clasping the hands around the legs and getting that takedown right at the end. That's got to look good for the judges. I'm curious to see how they score the striking in that round, because definitely Huerta landed some punches of his own, but was scored on by Eduardo at least a few times.
I mean, Eduardo has some good, solid connections here. In the first round, you did notice he did start off with a couple of good strikes. He did look very, very solid. So I get the impression that between rounds 1 and 2, you could tell that maybe the Fight Science folks over there, our good friend Ian, maybe getting in there and being like, hey, man, you look good on the feet, maybe better than you think you do. Have some confidence in your hands and make sure that when he's shooting in, you're making him respect your hands. And I think in this one, you may just see more of the same. I think you're going to probably see Huerta really try to push this wrestling pace. I figure with the last 2 minutes, I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes for broke on some of these wrestling exchanges here, John.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad game plan, too. He should just, as soon as the bell rings, he should just shoot in there and start attacking the legs, get Eduardo down as soon as possible, because the way that he's keeping his chin up, is a little bit worrisome. And he's doing so well in this fight, too. You hate to see him throw it all away with one punch. There, swinging that left hand, and you can see, look, and there he got clipped. Good uppercut, though.
Yep.
And a nice left there.
Yeah, this is not where you want to be if you are Eduardo. This is playing right into Huerta's game plan, but this is a good regard. Now, here's what I don't love. I don't love necessarily keeping your hands clasped behind the head. At this point, you probably want to start striking from inside of there and not letting your opponent have any kind of grip that they can get on an overhook here, John.
Yeah, curious to see what's going on with Eduardo, like how much that punch affected him. Oh, nice. Got out of there, though, and he avoided damage, so a little dicey for a second, but Now he's looking to throw some punches. Looks like he's cleared out the cobwebs.
I mean, you get the impression that Huerta probably could have done pretty good work from inside of that guard, but he let him back up for a specific reason. I think now he wants to get some respect off of those hands. He found a home for that uppercut at least twice within this fight, so seeing if maybe he can replicate that with a knockout here may be more advantageous to him than even trying to out-wrestle him, John.
Yeah, no, it's that very well could be what's going on, but also he's eating some of these punches. He's still a little... I feel like if there's a place where he could lose this match, it's on the feet here. So it is a little risky. I mean, it is amateur MMA, and you do want to try different things and get your experience in. But, yeah, I mean, he absolutely could still get knocked out here. I mean, 20 seconds left to go.
Here's the thing. If you're looking at these last 20 seconds and you have a gift as being a wrestler, you probably want to secure that last moment and make that impression with a good takedown here. But instead, we're seeing an exchange that it does look like it is going more towards Eduardo with the finish here, and a desperation takedown may not be enough. This is going to be a very close round to score, at least in some judges' eyes. So very interesting strategy pulls here on both sides, John.
Yeah, curious to see if if the judges give a unanimous decision victory, and you can see the heavy breath from Huerta. That was a lot of work from him. 2-minute rounds can go by really quick, but they can also be an eternity depending on what goes on in the fight.
Well, you know, it's hard to say this because we just take wrestlers for granted, but wrestlers be tired too sometimes, especially when you're throwing.
Yeah, and if you have just like a high level of output, even if you got great cardio, it's still so much energy expenditure. And I think we saw a bit of that from Huerta, so curious to see what the judges will say. Here's a little bit of a replay here.
Yep.
There's that mat return. Oh, man, that was a monster. High kick, missed, and there was that left. There's the left hook, dropped Eduardo.
Beautiful swat by him, too.
Yes, and just caught him with his hands down. There's the replay. Yep, that left hook it just dropped Eduardo. I thought maybe they were going to stop it because it's amateur MMA, but it looked like it dropped him just momentarily, and he was pretty with it immediately after that. So they did not stop the fight and went the full distance.
I mean, here's the nice part. At least with this version of how they both played their strategies, we did get to see more from both of these young men. Like, getting to see more of a range of what they can do. And, you know, sometimes that's beneficial too. It is one of those things where you get the sense of if there is some kind of upset, you can maybe see the wheels for that. It will be interesting to see if the judges do go for Huerta, given his output and how consistent he was. But there is a little bit of a window creep that could give you that opening for Eduardo getting enough strikes to make it at least, if not competitive, potentially a sneak.
Yeah, I mean, I like what they were doing out there. I like that they're taking chances. I'm curious to see where both of these guys go after this, regardless of the result. The guys over at Fight Science are producing good fighters, and then Inso here, now that they see that they've got my old teammate as one of the grappling coaches, who's a great grappler. Always curious to see anything he's going to produce.
Now, this is never a case. This is just non-data driven, but we are taking a minute on these scorecards, John. And if you are a fighter, that doesn't necessarily inspire confidence. Maybe the carrier pigeon's a little late right now, or maybe everybody's taking an extra sip of their water. It's hard to say, but if you're in that cage, you're ready for that announcement to happen ASAP.
Yeah, I think that's if it goes the full distance, regardless of if it was the most one-sided fight in history. Anytime it takes a little longer to get the scorecard, it make you worry.
You're talking about the anticipation. You're talking about being worried. You're talking about a number of things, but it does look like now your referee, Chris Lieben, is bringing them back to the center of the cage, and we will find out who the winner is in just a second.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, let's give both fighters a big round of applause. This bout was sponsored in part by CPI Cellular Performance Institute. Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. We have a split decision. Judge at cage side, Jackie Jenkins scores about 29-28 in favor of Orellana. Judge at ringside, Don Howard scores the bout 29-28 in favor of Huerta. And judge at cage side, Michael Pell scores the bout 30-27 in favor of our winner by split decision, the blue corner, Miguel Huerta.
That's right, fight fans. Once again, make some noise for Miguel Huerta. Hi, brother.
¡Viva México, puto!
Dominating, coming back and forth, coming with strong takedowns and punches. How do you feel, and who's your camp?
My camp, let's do MMA. Like, oh my God. I strike really fucking good up before the camp. And Alan over here, my tech coach, oh my God. I was throwing up people. I've never thrown out people in my life. Just because I fucking sparred this guy. And, oh my God, Jacob helped me so much with the camp. I'm in that gym every day. He gave me my shoes. These ones, y'all didn't want to let me use them. But it is. You guys like that shit? You guys like that?
All right, fight fans, make some noise for Miguel Huerta.
Well, we said it would be close, and we weren't wrong. For a split decision win, it's just by the skin of his teeth, according to the judges.
I don't know what judge gave Eduardo 2 rounds.